So it's never going to be perfect, right? Because if I will get it perfect...
We'll go along with that. In fact, we'll say it's never going to be perfect, but it's always going to be satisfying.
I see. Okay.
And it can't be perfect because that implies finished. And because you're eternal, it can't be done. So it's always ongoing, which means, so something happens, you say, I'm so glad you're here because you assure my longevity in this body. I'm so happy that you're making my life so miserable, because if it were not for you, I wouldn't be launching more rockets and I'd have nowhere to grow.
I understand. So, but work, it's okay. You can drop it, you can move on, you can ask for another one, and it will come, for sure.
However, your patterns with your work people and your patterns with your personal people are pretty much the same patterns.
I see.
And we're just asking you to not be so human. No, that isn't what we're just asking you to not be so responsive to the conditions. Here's a really good description. So let's say you're in that manifested place in some situation, and for whatever reason, it's not pleasing you in some way. And you manage to get back into meditation and get another run at it, and it feels better. And then it goes wonky again because it's full of contrast. And so you get back into meditation and you get the momentum going and it gets better, but it still goes wonky. And then you kind of lose faith in the value of that. So you just do a little less of that and a little more of paying attention. And then it just wobbly and kind of wonky and wobbly and kind of wonky, and you just kind of develop into this pattern. And then you think, I need to do something different. And we say, you can't get there from there. Take that phrase home. Can't get there from there. You can't get to where you want to be from a manifestation that isn't pleasing you. You got to quiet your mind and get yourself away from it and start in a whole new neutral place. Not neutral, a whole new empowered place where everything you want and your inner being is, and then get another run at it and 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 get another run at it. And then one day, today or tomorrow, you find yourself in a manifestation that isn't perfect, but your satisfaction factor didn't go away because you have understanding of how it works. You're not blaming yourself. You're not blaming them. You understand you're collecting data. You understand it's just part of the process of making decisions about what you want. You don't freak out over little things. You stand solid in your knowing that all is well. You just get better and better at riding out the ripples, more and more happy as you go.
Do I have to go all the way and start my progress over, or I can concentrate? Because I listened to you and you said concentrate on positives. That's what I was doing.
You don't have to, but here's the thing. Even Esther thought she was doing what we were teaching. She just did another focus wheel. So she just soothed it for a minute. Her point of attraction was such that she had some things going on that she'd attracted from previous vibrations that she couldn't clean up with a focus wheel, because there was so much momentum already there that the factors involved just kept knocking her off her alignment. And so here's the best way of describing it. If this relationship is this damn much work, start over. Start over. If it's so much work that you're just spinning yourself into oblivion, if there's so much to react to, then sometimes it's better. And we don't mean leave the relationship. We don't mean leave the job. We mean approach it from a more centered place. And when you do that, what happens is the path of least resistance becomes so much more evident to you. You know, almost everyone makes almost every decision from a place of being more dominant about what they don't want than about what they do want.
I agree.
So you just keep trying to solve problems, and you try to make your words more productive than they can be, or your actions more productive than they can be. And sometimes it's like this. What if you really wanted employment? Let's go back to that topic. And the dollars were urgently needed right now. And so that was a dominant factor within you. So it would be logical that the path of least resistance for you would be to take something that could bring the dollars the fastest. Well, just because that's not really where you want to be long term doesn't mean that that path of least resistance wasn't exactly right for you at the time. But now you're in this situation where the dollars are flowing and that is relieved, but now other things that are important to you are showing themselves to you, so you get to add another intention to the mix, which means this current manifestation is not the best answer to the newly understood desire that you've put back over here into the vortex. So often Esther would say on occasion, I don't want to hurt their feelings. And Jerry would say, you'd rather hurt your own feelings? Or you say, I don't want to be seen as irresponsible, or I don't want to rock the boat. In other words, you make up all kinds of things when a manifestation isn't quite right, because frankly, the path of least resistance is not to just walk away right now. That would make it much worse for you, much more upheaval sometimes in some of your quick, not well thought out fixes than if you just sort of let the status quo be where it is while you find a new centered place. We know you're following this.
Last question. So if my grandfather has crossed over or transcended into spirit, and then I could feel him and communicate with him, but then at some point doesn't he choose to reincarnate, and then he would come back into another body?
But remember what we were saying earlier, that you are an extension of this non-physical energy.
Right.
And this non-physical energy, when you reemerge into the non-physical, you are multidimensional. You have the capacity for all of that. After Jerry made his transition, Esther got so many letters from so many people that Jerry was talking to them about that and talking to them about that and talking to them about that. And Esther said, you're really a busy person. You're in so many places. And not once did she feel, don't go with them, come only with me. This non-physical energy has the capacity to focus simultaneously in many, many, many different places.
That's so incomprehensible.
Well, you know what?
What?
It's not incomprehensible.
Okay.
When you are really tuned in any moment. We want to explain something that's just happening here. This person is really often tuned into this source energy that we're talking about. Right now, while she's asking a question to which she doesn't know the answer, she's not in the receptive mode of the answer. Therefore, our answer, brilliant, accurate answer, is incomprehensible to her.
It totally makes me giggle.
But when you get into the receptive mode, then it's not only not incomprehensible, it's so comprehensible as you're living it and feeling it and knowing it. At first, when someone makes their, what you think is their departure, because your belief is that they're gone, you don't let their presence be known to yourself. Esther suffered so mightily once Jerry made his transition. And one night she is saying, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And then later, when she had settled down and was back into alignment, we were able to say to her, Esther, you must look where Jerry is, not where he isn't. Non-physical is different than physical. You have to tune yourself to see it differently. And when you're missing, you're not ever going to find it. And we know from a physical format that feels just unfair. Well, when I need it, I can't have it. And when I don't need it, I can have it. We say pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's why we're trying to talk you out of being needy and into finding a way to be satisfied. Because if you can find a way to be satisfied about this or that or this or that or this or that, then whatever you want can come to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.
Really good. Really good. So we've spent a few years visiting with you about how you live in a vibrational universe, and it's hard for you to get that because it seems to be very tangible to you. There's no point really in talking to you about the vibrational makeup of any of these things that are so obviously physical. You can tell me it's vibrational all you want, Abraham, but I see a chair and I really like this fabric. And so talk about the vibration of it if you must, but I'm a physical human here in a physical body, and I'm used to looking at chandeliers and lights and room dimensions and measurements and what everybody's wearing or not wearing and so forth. I like to see and hear and smell and taste and touch my vibrational reality. And we say, yes, you do, and we want you to, because this is the leading edge of thought. And that is where the greatest satisfaction is ever experienced in all of the creative universe. of which we are all a part. And you said, I'll go forth into this tangible environment, and from my awareness of what's going on there, I will come to new and improved conclusions and decisions and preferences and desires, knowing that source energy then will follow the path of my new desire, and that then I will be the recipient, the liver of. I will get to drive the new car. I will get to experience the new technology. I will get to eat the new food and live in the new environments and dwell in the new dwellings. I get to live in this leading edge environment. But you didn't come to just live in this leading edge environment. You came as a creator of this leading edge environment, and you will never be happy if you are only in an observational state. You will never be happy if you remain only in a reactionary state. You can't just observe and react and get to the improvement. It does not work that way. At some point early on in your understanding of this 3-step or 4-step or 5-step, we can put 100 steps on it. The first 3 are the ones that we really want you to focus upon. Step 1 is you ask. Step 2 is source answers. And step 3 is you got to let the answer in. You've got to tune into the vibrational frequency of the vibrational request that you have made, of the vibrational now reality that now exists, before you can allow yourself to see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. So what we're really asking of you is something that is the most natural thing in the world to you, but you have practiced otherwise, so it doesn't feel natural. What we're asking you to do is to think less specifically about the things that aren't working out the way you want them to, and think more specifically about the things that are working out the way you want them to. Rather than look at the problem and define it and then attempt to solve it from your awareness of the problem, which is never something that will work out for you, because when you're looking at the problem, you're a vibrational match to the problem. You're perpetuating the problem. You are in the receiving mode of more of the problem. You have to find a way to identify the problem and then back off from your awareness of the problem and see it as a request for something different, and then find a way to be a match, a vibrational match, an emotional match to the new and improved that you are asking for. And that's really why you came. Not because things need to get done, and not because things are broken that need to be fixed, but because it's oh so fun to get to bring your awareness into an environment where you specifically and importantly choose what matters to you, and then you find the vibrational stance that lets the universe deliver it to you. When you get to witness that, what you're really witnessing is your personal attunement to your personal desires. And what most people are mostly witnessing is their personal attunement to a reality that already exists, to which they are having a knee-jerk response. So you kind of have to decide, am I a creator or a regurgitator? Do I create my own reality, or do I just keep observing what is and keep being a part of regurgitating more of that? There's a war against this and that and the other. There's a war against so many things. And everything that there's a war against, things are getting bigger, because when you look at something, wanted or unwanted, you become a vibrational match to it. And law of attraction makes you part of the swelling of it, of the growing of it, of the evolution of it, you see.